welcome everybody. Glad you could join us. We are taking a break off Miss Kiki's truck. Stepping back, we have a big project going on with the 72 C10. We are actually going to do an oil change on our Harley Softtail Deluxe. It's a 2010, very cool bike. Had a ton of upgrades to it. We got lucky and found this one out of Las Vegas back in 2018. So about a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago. Very cool bike. Like I said, it's a 2010, extremely low miles. I think it's 6,435 miles. So low mile bike. It's got the Fat Cat D&D 2-to-1 exhaust, 255 cams, K&N intake, ride right, 21-inch spoked wheels with the white walls in the front, 18-inch in the back. So many options that have been added to this bike, it's hard to even remember all of them. This one's kind of cool. I didn't even know it until I got it, but it does have the Brembo brake calipers chromed out, kind of cool. I'm going to point down to it. So these are kind of cool. It's got the chrome Brembo brakes on it. White walls, like the throwback look. We put the mirror down below because we're going to be doing an oil change today, so we're going to try and get down here and show you where the drain filter's at so the camera will see it easier. I believe this one's a 16mm socket to drain that. We got the pan. I'll show you what we're using for products here in a second. But just a cool bike. The sound is incredible. The exhaust, not too loud, not too soft. Like I said, a ton of chrome. Such a nice cruising bike. I throw the sissy bar on it. Sometimes it looks cool. We got about 3 different seats for it. This one's the skinny CNC seat. The low profile LED gauges up here. The theft lock fuel cap. It's got the LED. See if we can turn on and see. It's got the LED fuel gauge and voltage gauge right here. And then it's got the fuel cap. Let me see where my key's at. It's got the low profile fuel cap, kind of cool. Comes with a little lock tool. Turn it. There you go. Like I said, I unfortunately haven't been able to ride too much since I've got the bike. Have a cool group of friends that we get to go out every once in a while, do some riding. But back to the task at hand. We are going to be doing an oil change. So saw a couple of videos. I like to do a lot of my own do-it-yourself type stuff on vehicles, cars, trucks. Our classic 72 C10 we're doing. The Suburban. We have a Hennessy Camaro that we work on. But we're going to be jumping into this. I haven't done an oil change on it yet. So let me show you what I got. We have, we'll start over here first, an array of funnels. The reason why I pulled these out, there was one funnel they wanted you to buy to drain the actual oil filter. They wanted $17 to $18 for a little funnel, a weird shaped funnel with a long nail and a tube just for the oil filter. I didn't want to buy it. I've got so many filters here at the house and so many at the shop. I was like, we can make one. So we're going to show you what we do. So we do have the 20W50 fully synthetic B-twin oil, 4 quarts of that. We went ahead and invested in a pack of Harley-Davidson O-rings for the drain plug. Let's see, where is it? Part number 11105. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what we're going to be using. And all those, here, I'll come this way for you. See if you can see it.
Yeah, that's better.
So that's what we're going to be using for the drain plug, put in a new O-ring. Now, we did get the special oil filter wrench tool is what they call it. Use the 1/2-inch socket. We have some different sizes on here to get the oil filter off. It is a chrome oil filter up in front of the engine, and you have to use this to be able to get it in there to turn it. So I researched it a little bit. Instead of having to use this every time and it's tight, we are going to actually go with the K&N. It's a chrome Let's see where the part number is at. KN171C. See if you can get a picture of that, and I'll show you what's cool about this one. So, with the old oil filter, you got to kind of work this oil filter wrench cap in there to get it in and off right by one of the main studs, bolts for the engine. So check this out. Bam, K&N came up with a better way. So instead of having to use this oil wrench, now you just use a 17mm socket. You don't have to worry about even messing with the engine, the front of the engine. Comes right off. So we're going to go with this. We'll have to use this one to get the old one off, but from here on out, much easier. Less possibility to scratch anything down there. We'll get it off. Now, before we pull the old filter off, we're going to take our drill, use this little self-tapping screw right here, and to drain it, we're going to drain the main, take the drain plug out, drain the main oil out of the engine. Then we're going to drill a small hole in the top of the oil filter, and then when we turn the oil filter upside down, it's going to drain all the oil that's in the filter. They sell a special kit for like 17, 18 bucks just for that, but I have so many filters, I'll make one. So my awesome wife came up with an idea. Kiki gave us an idea after she looked at it. Hey, let's just use, we have an old Coke bottle sitting around, plastic, so we were able to cut it in the same dimensions as the other ones, and it fits right up in here under the oil filter. It's kind of hard to see. I'll put my headlight on here in a minute. Our drain pans. And we got an old piece of mirror, so on the other side when we get into the drain plug, we'll show you what it looks like. So, there we go. Instead of buying the $18 special oil filter drain funnel, we made our own. So what we're going to do, we're going to come in and drill a hole in the top, little pilot hole. Loosen it up a little bit first, but we're going to drill that pilot hole. Once it's loose, we just turn it, and boom, it'll drain into here, keeping all the oil off the front of the engine, and the bike, and the frame, and the components underneath. So I'm going to slide this back out. Now, go over to the other side of the bike, and we'll go ahead. It's a 16mm. Like I said, usually we'll do this at the shop, but didn't have time today to take the bike over there. So I'm going to come over here and we'll go ahead and get the drain part started. So on this mirror, if you come over here, the drain plug is going to be that silver bolt right there. I'm going to bring right, let me see if I can match it to the camera, right there, that bolt. I'm going to put the 16mm socket up on it, right there. So give me a second. Let me loosen it up. Then we'll get the pan underneath. There it goes. Works when you're going the right way. So we're going to loosen it up a little bit, get the ratchet out of the way so it doesn't get oil in the ratchet. I do have my nifty little orange gloves here I'm going to slip on real quick, and we'll get an extra little towel over here. Just in case, we're going to try and do this as oil spill free as possible. Let me grab my towel. A little throwaway shop towel, shop rag. And There we go. So while that's draining, I am going to clean up. Yeah, that oil is a little bit darker than I liked. Don't really ride it too hard. Haven't put a ton of miles on it since I've had it from December of 2018. We're in, what are we in? We're in September of 2020. It had 4,009 miles on it, and it's got 6,000, what, 400, what did I say, 25 or 35? We just looked at it. So not a lot of miles, but I didn't like the way this oil was looking. So we'll clean our socket up real quick. We're going to clean the, ooh yeah, this was an old, yeah, that oil drain plug, O-ring, the O-ring on the drain plug is just not looking good. So no worries. We'll get a new one while that's draining. Let me grab a new one. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. So let's open this guy up a little bit. I may have to take the gloves off to get a grip on it. There it goes. Let's clean them up a little bit. All right. Who is out of the 50? Which one's the lucky one? There it is. So we'll put this in our Harley kit, save it for the next one. Let's see if we can get it just with our little blade here. Yep, there it is, just one little pull. Clean that up. Let's clean it up again now that the whatchamadoodle's off. Yeah, that oil was, they did a 5K service on the bike before I bought it when it had 4,000 miles on it at Red Rock Harley Davidson in Las Vegas. So it was pretty clean. But it was time to do a new one. Now all we're going to do is slip this guy on and just get it down there just a bit. What we'll do is get just a dab of oil. And put it around the ring. So that it'll have, whenever it does tighten, it's not dry like on the back side. So longevity. Okay. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get our drain plug back in there. No. Yeah, I do. Okay. As the beautiful and talented videographer, Miss Kiki, just reminded me, wear gloves. You do not want your fingers or hands to get corona. So we'll wear gloves. All right. Get the gloves on. Get back into surgery. All right, here we go. Now, a little bit of drip. Get our towel over there real quick. Drip, drip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is slide our oil over to where the oil filter is going to be. Let's tighten this guy back up before we forget, which I wouldn't, but just to be safe. You never know. Yeah, Kiki remembers everything. She's like part elephant.
I would forget.
No, Kiki would remember. I'm the one that forgets. She's part elephant. So here we go. There's our drain plug if you look in the mirror right there. Let's get our ratchet back on there, tighten it up a little bit. Not too tight, but just, it's got the O-ring on it. Just snug. Boom. There. All right, now for the fun part, let's go try the oil filter. Well, we are going to drill a little drain tube hole, a little drain plug hole right here in the top of this filter. Let's see if we can get a good, almost. Starting to. There it goes. Okay. All right, so we got the drain tube in there. Excuse me, the hole for the oil to come through. Now, what we want to do is now get our drain pan back over here. Position it. We want to get our drain tube, excuse me, our catch, our little Coca-Cola drain, oil filter drain catch ready to go. Right there. I haven't done this before, so I'm not sure. Let me get my light. Headlight working. There it goes. I'm not sure how much oil is going to come out. So, we're right there. Kind of tight right now, so let me here's our special Harley oil wrench that once we use it this one time, we shouldn't have to use it again once we start using that K&N filter that's got the K&N filter is going to have the, whatchamacallit. Gosh dang, this thing's tight. Wow, this thing's tighter than I thought. So let's see if we can get this thing kind of going. There comes some oil. So let's see how far off we are. Okay, the hole is over there on the right side. So we may want to come another revolution. We're going to let it drain a little bit right there, though. Let's see. I don't think I can hand loosen it yet. Oh, yeah, I can. A little bit. Okay. So, let's see if we can get this hole to the bottom. There we go. So we'll let that start draining. There may not be a lot since we were able to pivot the bike up, but there's still going to be some, and we don't want to get a ton on the bike. So it's hard to see, but the pinhole is down on the bottom. But unfortunately, I think our filter is draining a little bit. We'll see. But other than that, not a bad deal. Our little Coke bottle is doing what it's supposed to do. And the oil is draining. So we're just going to sit here and let it drain for a while. We'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, we are putting the new filter on. Let's get it up there and we'll clean it off a little bit from our grubby fingers. So now we are going to be able, hold on. Clean that up a little bit. All right, so what we're going to be able to do now, much easier than using the oil wrench, we'll be able to get in here much easier using this K&N filter with the hex head on the top of the filter on the center versus having to use the Harley wrench, which was somewhere around here. So just doing it a couple turns with this guy, or having a socket where you can just go in and start going, much easier with this particular design on the filter. I like it. So moving on from here, in the future when we do oil changes, we're not going to get the regular one. We're going to make sure we get the K&N bolt head filter for easier oil changes in the future. And then we'll clean this part up again too. This towel's a little bit kind of dirty, so we'll come back in. We'll get what we can off here, make it just nice. You know, they did a nice job on that filter, clean. All right, it's tightened up, it's snugged up, and we'll check when we're done for any oil on the bottom. We got our makeshift oil filter funnel right here. It's in the oil pan. Our old filters right here. You can see where that hole was at. Did a little self-tapping hole. We're good to go. Okay, here we are. We're almost done. We're going to put the oil back in the bike, the new oil. Let's clean that cap a little bit. So this is where the oil goes in, little dipstick right here. I cleaned it a little bit earlier, and it has, of course, a gauge on it to let you know where it's supposed to be when it's hot. But we know the measurements, the amount that's supposed to go in. We'll get our funnel. We already cleaned the funnel. And we need 3.5 quarts. So carefully we will get this going. And this is 20W50 full synthetic. Drain plug's tight. Oil filter is tight. So let's get 3.5 quarts in here. And they say it's supposed to go at least 5,000. That was, I put about 345 miles on it. But it's been sitting a while. So let's see where we're at. Yep, it's to the top of the check. So we'll get another clean rag here in a sec, towel to clean everything up.